Hello, I'm Natasha. Welcome back to my channel. And in previous videos, I have described what happened during NATO's bombing of the former Yugoslavia. And it really shocks me that commentators on the right can claim that NATO is a defensive organisation. In my opinion, NATO should be disbanded on the basis that it is an aggressive military alliance, and Russia in particular is fully justified in seeing it as so. In other videos, I have gone into a lot of detail regarding what NATO did to Libya and the former Yugoslavia. However, in this video, I want to really explain some of the repercussions of NATO's involvement in the former Yugoslavia, because this does not get the proper attention that it so truly deserves, especially in Western media. In my other videos, I explained that NATO used depleted uranium against the former Yugoslavia. In fact, around 15 tons of depleted uranium bombs were dropped by NATO on Yugoslavia. As a result of these bombings, over 30,000 people were diagnosed with cancer in the first 10 years since the bombings, making Serbia now the country that has the highest rate of cancer in Europe and one of the highest in the world. Children born in Serbia between 1999 and 2015 were also exposed to a toxic factor, making them vulnerable to malignant diseases, according to research by the Commission for Investigating the Consequences of the 1999 NATO air campaign. On behalf of these people and their families, Serbian lawyer Srdan Aleksić began a legal process against NATO in 2021. The NATO bombing of Yugoslavia in 1999 was extremely destructive because depleted uranium is a heavy radioactive material. Its primary purpose is to penetrate armoured targets with lethal efficiency. However, the lasting impact of depleted uranium lingers, leaving behind a legacy fraught with controversy, health concerns, and environmental consequences. The origins of depleted uranium in warfare can be traced back to the Gulf War of 1990. The United States and its allies employed depleted uranium munitions, including tank rounds and artillery shells, with devastating effectiveness. The high density of depleted uranium allowed these projectiles to pierce through the thickest armour, making them a potent tool for neutralising enemy tanks and armoured vehicles. The primary radiation emitted by depleted uranium is in the form of alpha particles, which are relatively weak externally. However, if depleted uranium particles are inhaled or ingested, they can pose a radiation hazard inside the body, potentially leading to tissue damage and an increased risk of cancer. Long-term health concerns have also been raised, with ongoing debate and research surrounding the potential link between depleted uranium exposure and various health issues, particularly cancer. Moreover, concerns about the impact of depleted uranium exposure on reproductive health, including birth defects in areas where munitions have been used, have added to the complexity of the issue. The environmental impact of depleted uranium use is equally concerning. Depleted uranium contamination can persist in the environment for extended periods, affecting soil and water quality and posing risks to local ecosystems and communities. I think this just goes to show the severe repercussions for many generations of families living in the areas that have been targeted by NATO forces.